For you, lovely people to catch up. Maybe, just maybe, you'd want a little bit of, I don't know, this.
Is objecting to the dictionary definition. No one is wanting to
Yes, you are.
alter
That's
the
exactly what you
dictionary
did.
definition. However, the fact that this term's been appropriated by your overtly transphobic
A
campaign,
dictionary definition.
makes transgender people feel unsafe and unwelcome in their own
A dictionary definition on a billboard makes men feel unsafe.
Who knew? What do we know? Now, let me just say, I wanted to talk to you today about 2024. It's going to be the year of the woman. Let me explain to you exactly why that is. In the United Kingdom, we will be having our election. Apparently, it's going to be around Halloween, witches. And the United States of America will be going to election also. Pretty sure Australia might be. But let's just stick to America and the UK. Now, I'm going to say some things here that some of you might not agree with, and I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't care. In the United States of America, what they have done is you have two choices as a woman. Do you vote to keep abortion or do you vote to ban it? That's kind of where women are in the United States of America, whether we like it or not, whether you're pro-choice or pro-life. However you feel about abortion, these are my views. I am absolutely pro-choice. I think I have a limit. I personally think that after a certain point in your pregnancy, unless it's an absolute risk to your life, you don't really have the right to. There comes a point where a baby is a baby, and I think the whole of abortion is actually killing a potential life. I genuinely do. I just think that women have the right to do it. So, I'm on both sides. I can see the argument for pro life, and I totally get it. And I totally agree with you. I agree that it's not a very nice thing. I think a society would be better if we didn't do it, but we are going to do it. And I'd rather that women didn't die in the process. It's quite simple. I certainly don't judge any woman for having an abortion. I don't judge any woman who thinks that no woman should. That's entirely up to you. It's your prerogative, it's your views, whatever. However, in the United States of America, women are in such a difficult position because if they acknowledge and understand what a woman is, it is likely that they are less likely to think that women have the right to an abortion. And that's how it plays out in the general kind of political sphere. Now, it isn't really true. There's plenty of women in the Democrat Party who both know that women don't have penises and would like to maintain access to safe abortions for women. And in the same token, there are women in the Republican Party who are not pro-life, who also do know that women don't have penises. But that is not what's happened. The Democrats very cleverly, unlike the Republicans who totally played into the hands of the Democrats, they have used abortion as a political football for a really, really long time. As women, you don't actually matter to them. They don't really care whether or not you have access to a safe abortion. They don't care at all. They just know that if you think that you might lose it, it's a really good way of getting your vote. And I firmly believe that coming into the elections in the United States of America, there will not be such a big fat red wave as we may like from this particular single issue. There may not be that. And I think America is going to continue going straight to hell. And I think the Democrats will win all over again. And all those women who still call themselves Democrats, which I really don't understand it, women, why you're still hanging on to people that hate you, why you still want to vote for people that really do hate you so much that they don't want to acknowledge that you exist, like literally don't acknowledge that you exist. So I don't actually get that. That is not how I feel about politics over here in the United Kingdom. How I feel is that it's not good enough for me, so I'm making my own. Thanks very much, because that's the sort of thing that I would do. But that's what we're talking about in the United States of America. We really are talking about women will go to the polls thinking, do I lose the right to having safe access to safe abortions for all women in this country, or do I vote that away? And it doesn't matter about the rest of it. That will be the deciding issue for women in America. That's why women are important. That's why it's really, really important that we get this party registered here and then we start working on the United States of America. because only with a true different option that look in America we're not going to win. We're not going to be president, right? We're not going to necessarily win really successful seats in Congress or even in the Senate or in low state senates. I don't necessarily think that will happen because it takes so much money and the American political system is so terrible and corrupt that money swings it. You could be a practical nobody tomorrow, and as long as you've got a few billion in your pocket, then you can become president. That's absolutely fine. But I do think that America needs something else. Women in America need somewhere else that doesn't make them choose between men in their daughters' changing rooms or their daughter's right to access a safe abortion should she need one. And when we're talking about the safe access to abortion, we are talking about abortion pills will become illegal in those places. We are talking about women being criminalized if they have a miscarriage and someone suspects that maybe she helped cause it. So this is what we are. This is just what we're talking about. So that's why we have to make 2024 Year of the Woman, because it will be our votes at the end of the day that change the fate of nations. Now, in the United Kingdom, Rishi Sunak, I don't know. I think I think the Tories are going to lose. I think we are going to be in the grip of the insane left. Um, and there are so many things that I'd like to say about them at the moment, but I am sticking to my single issue. But let me just say, I went to Tesco's today and I haven't seen poppy sellers in my town. I haven't seen them. Can't move for pride flags during June, July, August. Can't move for pride stuff during LGBT History Month or whatever it is. Can't move for trans stuff on trans remembrance awareness. Couldn't possibly flipping forget day. Can't move for any of the trans stuff, but not poppy stuff. And I just find it really interesting. No matter how you feel about Armistice Day, my own grandfather was in Burma, and I just, I don't really care how you feel about it, actually. It just is very interesting that this sort of virtue signaling is not particularly fashionable. That this sort of remembrance, like genuinely remembering people who lost their lives in war, fighting for the freedoms that you all enjoy. I think it's really interesting that in my local Tesco's, the general manager or the manager of the branch couldn't be bothered to move a freezer where you would have a whole pride display, where you would walk into Tesco's to get your scan and shop thing, and you would have like some massive great big cardboard cutout of a bloke in a dress, and all throughout the store pride stuff, and everybody with pride logos here and pride logos there, and pride Oreos and pride PG tips. I don't know if that really exists, but it just felt like everywhere you looked it was pride. You couldn't buy a shampoo without potentially thinking you were going to dye your hair blue. But when it came to this, that had to be sort of hidden at the back of the store. I think it's very interesting, and I think it's quite sick of our society. It was pretty terrible. Also, throughout, look, my kids aren't at schools where they sell poppies, but usually, so one of my children is at a school where there's a massive pride display on one of the classrooms, like all different flags, and on their website, it's, and they claim to have British values, and on their website, it's all the stuff about, if you think you might be gay, why don't you watch RuPaul's Drag Race? Yeah, why not do that? That's a totally bizarre thing to suggest to teenage boys or girls. So there's that, um, but there's nothing on their website about poppies. There's no collection about poppies. There's no selling poppies. There are no, at the local train station, no poppy sellers, not in the local sort of precinct, not in any of the local supermarkets, not in my Marks and Spencers, no poppies anywhere. But like I said, you cannot frickin' move for pride flags during the month of June, July, and August, quite frankly. It's really, really sinister and annoying. So anyway, I bought myself a Swarovski poppy. I've never been so keen to wear a poppy as I am this year, to be quite honest. I've never been so keen, and I really do feel very proud of this country in which I live. That we are tolerant. We are very tolerant. It's a really nice country to to be born in and grow up in. We're very, very lucky. Very lucky. I'm not going to bed tonight thinking, is it my house that's going to be bombed? Or is it my house that's going to be going to have loads of terrorists crawling all the way through it, wanting to torture my children in front of me? So very, very lucky. Get back to War of the Woman. Year of the Woman. So 2024, I'm calling the Year of the Woman. I think it's something that we should all get behind. I think it's a fantastic idea. This year was the year of the TERF. Next year is going to be the year of the woman. You are going to be changing the fortune of your country. You are going to be changing the political direction of your country. Don't think you don't have the power, because you absolutely do. And in this country, I think Keir Starmer will get in, but we really do have to try and disrupt that as much as humanly possible. We really do have to. You have to come out. Now, it might be that we get a Labour Prime Minister, but we totally try and populate the town councils with women who know what a woman is. And weirdly, I've been saying this for quite some time, and some other people have thought that was a good idea, and they've tried to jump on this particular bandwagon. But I'm a very, very, very good driver, and I won't be giving up this particular wheel. So anyway, when it comes to Year of the Woman, we are going to have our political party. We are more than ever. We are going to dominate local politics. Now, in the United States of America, Youngkin, who was probably going to be a presidential hopeful for the Republicans, he's just been out-seated. He's just been ousted. The Democrats are beginning to pick up. I don't know how or why this is, except that they are playing a good game, and the Republicans played right into their hands by messing around with abortion. They should have just left it. They should have just left it. The Democrats won't codify it because they don't really believe in it. They don't really care about women have access to abortion. They just care about your vote. They just care about power. They want to get back in. That's the only reason they're dicking around with abortion. So in this country, we want to make sure that all over the shop, there are just wondering why my lights on. That all over the shop, there are women in seats of power. Now, power with a small p, maybe, but power nonetheless. In those positions, whether it's the police and crimes commissioners, or whether it's sitting on local councils, whether it be the Children's Committee, whether it be the Education Committee, whether it be the Care for the Elderly Committee, whether it be sort of Legal Access Committee, whether it's even bins, whatever it is, whatever committees that actually have a direct impact on the daily lives of women and children and people that are vulnerable, that is where women have to be sat. And not women sat with no balls, women sat with ovaries of steel, who are willing to know exactly what mechanisms there are to ensure that women retain the right to name men as men, that women retain the right to exclude men from spaces where they think men should not be. That is what we're talking about. So I'm really looking forward to the 2024 Year of the Woman. I think it's something that each and every one of us should be thinking about. How can we make this the Year of the Woman? What is it that we can do as women? Because we will be deciding on the President of the United States. We will be deciding on the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Right throughout Europe, we will be deciding political seats of power throughout Australia and New Zealand. Now is the time, more than ever, now is the time. And I say this all the time, but it really is. 2024 is the Year of the Woman. And it can be an absolutely amazing year, where we really do stop centering men in our politics and our decision making, where where even when we look at race politics, we look at how that intersects with women who are both affected by men in their own race and the outside world looking in at them because of their race. Sex is always first. Your sex will have far more of a dramatic impact on your daily life than your race. It just will. You're much more likely to be impacted throughout your entire childhood on the basis of your sex more than race. In your own home by your sex rather than race. You know, it's very unlikely that somebody in their own home is treated differently upon the basis of their race, but they will be on the basis of their sex. So, Year of the Woman, let it bed into your brains. Think about really what that means. It means that you have the political power, each and every one of you, to change the direction of your local councils, like local politics. When you have a look at what's happening on the streets at the moment, you have to remember the blueprint to change politics is that you populate the local councils and then you do make a difference. There are reasons that certain people got away with grooming gangs, and that's because many town councils were populated with people who were willing to turn a blind eye. So that's what we're talking about. We are talking about populating town councils so that things are done, things that we think are right, things that are genuinely going to stick to safeguarding, that are absolutely going to look out for women and children and vulnerable adults, that's going to make sure that there is not an elderly woman in this land that fears that if she goes into hospital, or a woman with stage 4 cancer, that if she goes into hospital, somebody's going to overlook her in her hours of most vulnerability. In those moments where she cannot even bear to lift her head. We want those women to know that we are not going to let a bloke in a dress who calls himself a nurse come and look after her. I told you about Magdalene Burns, that there was a man on her ward when she just had brain surgery who decided to push her wheelchair around. This is what we're talking about. Oh, Youngkin didn't get ousted. The Democrats kept the legislature in VA. No idea. So yes, anyway, Year of the Woman. We've got to combat the ridiculous idea that the UN Women, I think, is led by Iran now, or human rights or something. So this is our Year of the Woman. This is what we are doing here at Let Women Speak. I hope you can stick around and put yourself forward, because without you, there's nothing. Without each and every one of you, this doesn't happen. So you've now got to commit to this Year of the Woman everywhere, all the time, all the time. Anyway, if you can do that, if you can center yourselves, if you can feel that you deserve it, if you think that women to the left and right of you deserve some consideration above others, then I promise we will win. If you can come along in a couple of Saturdays to Leeds and stand up and be counted, then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Because I never